I'm just going to keep this one short and sweet. Why are you working so hard? In 2025, it's not hard to make money at all. You just have to have the right mindset and shift your vehicle, right? You have to find a vehicle that's going to give you a greater output for the input that you input, right? You're right now stuck in a cycle. You're stuck in a loop, right? Where you are being rewarded for your time, right? But the ultimate place to be is detaching your time from a dollar amount to a set value and allowing your time to have an infinite value, i.e., being able to make money in your sleep, being able to go and travel and do different things all while the business is still running, right? And how can you achieve this if you are working so hard? Well, I'm going to give you guys a couple pieces of advice real quick to just challenge your perspective. Life is very simple. You get an output based on your input, but your input doesn't have to be a chillion, majillion percent, right? Because what you have to understand is your role. What kind of person are you? What are your skills best used at? And who has the makings of everything else that you may need to either get the job done, get the deal done, or make progress without putting in as much work? In every single business, that's why they hire employees, because the people who create the business, their time eventually becomes more valuable put into somewhere else. And oftentimes it takes less time, but more mental capacity to do that thing, but it's less time, right? And it's all about creating systems and processes. And that's in a business sense. But when it comes to you as an individual, if you want to work less hard, you have to be able to create a system and a vehicle that facilitates that. You have to rebuild your program and rewire your mind to see everything for what it is and find abundance in every single stage of the process and understand what your skills and most valuable use of your time is, right? You can't be the greatest of everything. And until you truly understand that, you'll always work harder than you need to. You will. Because you don't understand that it's okay to delegate or give someone else control, or I should say just power over a certain sector, but you can still have control over everything, right? But you don't have to put your hard-earned time and energy into something that's not going to give you the reward that you need or that you deserve. Plain and simple. So whenever you continue to find yourself going through the cycle, I like to think about the habit loop that was written by, I think, Charles Duhigg, where it simply is three components of the habit loop, and you have to figure out how to break this. You have your cue, aka your trigger. You have your routine, right? And then you have your reward. Your trigger is deeply psychological more often than not. So you're going to see something and think a certain way. Boom. And that's going to institute a certain habit, right? A routine that you always do. And that's going to give you a reward, which is typically attached to a feeling or a thing that you enjoy, that you like. But in order to become better, you have to change what the habit is. Because you may be a cigarette smoker, for instance, right? And you want to quit. And so every time you see someone whip out a cigarette, you think, I need a cigarette. That's your habit. And you get the reward of the satisfaction of that puff, that release. But what if instead, every time you saw someone out here whip out a cigarette, you instead recorded a motivational video about not smoking a cigarette? And then you still got that same release from, wow, I got that feeling I needed to get out. Because oftentimes, things like that are a cope for whatever you're trying to escape. So there's an example there of understanding how to break a loop, break a habit, and shift your entire being to a place where working hard is no longer hard, right? There's a difference between working hard, labor intense, and then getting a lot done, because a lot of times you may be working hard, but you're not getting a lot done. So you have to work smarter, you have to execute better. And oftentimes this looks like involving the right people, shifting your team and the people that you have around you. So plain and simple, ask yourself, why am I working so hard? And then figure out how to make that change. And oftentimes that change looks like changing gear. Because once you can control what's up here, dude, the world is yours. So hopefully that resonated with anybody. Hopefully it did. If there's any comments or thoughts or further instruction that you guys want to ask me about, you can actually find a lot of that information down below in my community, or it's linked in my bio as well. There's a lot of resources, and there's going to be a lot of calls and other people in there where we just talk about improving your lives. So if this seems like something that you can utilize to improve your life, come on and join. Let's have a conversation. I love you guys as always. Deuces.